Hello, everyone. I have a insane thing to talk about because yesterday I learned from the Atlantic magazine that Meta has systematically used every living author's work to train its LLMs. And I know you heard this before, but the thing that the Atlantic did is they actually posted the training data, the data sets that Meta was using to train this AI program called Llama. And I put in my name into it, and I came up 145 times. Now, the way copyright law works is that when you register your copyright with the government, which is like a $60, and there's a little form that you fill out, that entitles you to certain protections by the government against the theft of your ideas. And there are statutory guidelines, which means statutes are interesting because they just mean by default, if something happened, this payout happens. And the statutory guidelines are $150,000 per violation. Now, I've personally written six or seven books. I think seven books that are copywritten. And that would entitle me to like $1 million if it was just based on that. But if all 145 search results were mine and attributed to me, that means Mark Zuckerberg would owe me $20 million for doing this. And this sort of just got me thinking. I posted on Threads. I was like, should I sue Mark Zuckerberg? And basically, every other author who I follow and follows me said, hey, my works are in there too. We all want to get in on this. We all want to sue. And then I called up my lawyer, Siddhartha Rao, this gem of a human being who actually helped me beat Penguin Random House in a lawsuit just, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. He's interested. And I think that, here's the thing. For my whole career as a writer, as someone who goes out there and does the hard work to not only pen things, but do research and do all of this stuff that goes into writing, every fucking few years, a tech giant comes in and destroys the business model of writing, of the craft that goes into this, whether it was the destruction of newspapers, which started in 1999, when people like Google just gave our work out for free, to AI generation. And it is pissing me off. And I have a statutory right to go after them. And so we're looking at this. And I want to talk a little bit about the case. Now, training the LLM is like super expensive, super difficult. And AI has indeed done good things for civilization. But it comes out of this tech idea that information wants to be free, as in every piece of information out there should be free. And the people who did the work to create the information, well, they should not profit on their own labor. I think that is sort of bullshit. And not only because authors don't get paid for their work, but because now the way information distributes is that there's so much of it that the information is sort of useless. There's so much bad information out there, and the people who used to be able to curate this and understand it through years, decades of research and career advancement, now are sort of SOL because these billionaires have come in and just messed it all up. And I also want to note that where they trained their LLM from, and I think this is really important, is from a website called LibGen. LibGen is, it's sort of like Pirate Bay for books. And to some degree, I don't truly mind piracy. Like if someone goes out there and steals my book off the internet and they're just one human, there's only so much they can read, and the damage is pretty minimal. But once we start talking about that, and nonetheless, I do agree that it's illegal. Like I do agree that stealing my work is illegal, but I just am not really going to go after you because you stole it, because you're a human and you're one small thing. But because Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, this, what are they worth? Like, I don't know, $500 billion, just some insane amount of money. Because they decide to not come out to us and not like ask for permission, they just like stole all of it from a site of already pirated materials. This strikes me as they actually started from a position of theft. They're using stolen materials to train something, and from soup to nuts, this is just a crime that they used it. And I think I should be able to pursue it through the statutory guidelines that already exist, with the protections that exist in the US government around copyright. This is what they would call the fruit of the poisoned tree. They took the fruit. This is the legal idea. They took the tree was poisoned, and they took the apple, and then they made it into $1 billion apple, and they stole everyone's copyrighted work. Okay, now a lot of authors, and you might be an author, a lot of authors have approached me and said, hey, I want to get in on your class action lawsuit. And I want to point out that this is not an appropriate class action subject. Now, when we think about what a class action lawsuit is, it's like an energy company comes out and scams every one of their 10 million customers out of like $5 on a bill. None of those customers is going to sue the energy company for that $5. So what class action lawsuits do is collect all of those potential plaintiffs into one group, a class, and then they're able to use that class as a way to sue the big company. It's a way to group all these things, but these things together. But the thing with Meta, which is so insane, is that the class of writers, these aren't $5 problems. Like, I'm in $1 million on my default copyright judgments. Other people are in, every author who's written a book has a $150,000 claim. That's worthwhile suing all on its own. And it is totally reasonable that every single author in America should file their own lawsuits. Or perhaps we could all just get together in not a class, but like a group lawsuit with all of these individual plaintiffs. And maybe every one of them like gives $1,000 to provide the legal costs of actually pursuing a full-on lawsuit. And most authors I know would be into that. Then we can all go and sue the hell of Mark Zuckerberg. And anyone who wants to sue on their own can also sue Zuckerberg and just inundate them in legal fees and legal problems. And I think there's a good chance that we could win. Of course, there is a fair use argument that they will no doubt use. Now, fair use is the idea that when you, a creative person or a news source might take a piece of content and put it on their own channels. I do this all the time on my YouTube channels, right? I take a piece of content that is directly relevant to what I do and I transform it. And the word transform is really important in legal context. I transform it from a story about a supplement company's advertisement into a news story where I talk about that advertisement in context of my news story. And then that is fair use. Now, I'm going to argue that because I'm a human with consciousness in my head, that is a fair use is because I'm trying to do my work and I'm making these collages out of reality. And again, if someone steals my work from LibGen and just like downloads it and reads it on their own, that's sort of a limited amount of damage that they can really do. With training an AI program, one, AI is not conscious. I mean, there's a debate out there whether AI is conscious, but like most people agree right now that AI is not conscious. And the amount of copyright damage that they are able to do because it's able to process everything at once is a fundamentally different thing that has ever existed before. And it just assumes that writers should be able to give up all of their work. Right? It just assumes that what we do is not free. They did not ask us for permission. And I think that's a pretty good argument for why fair use does not apply to a billionaire stealing everything I do versus like a normal human doing it. If that was the way copyright was intended, then copyright had a very big problem at the bottom of it. Because the truth is that while writing has been devalued since I was a kid, since 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I think that just because someone is successful and a business has been created out of it, doesn't mean that business gets to treat us like digital serfs and slaves. So I don't know. I think I've got a good case. And I also think that if I go in front of a jury, then it's me arguing against a evil tech company. I think I got a much better shot if I go for a jury trial. So yeah, Mark, if you want to go settle with me today, see my video and send me it and slide on into my DMs, SG Carney. That's on Instagram. That's your platform. You want to slide into my DMs and like say, Scott, I got $1 million for you. I will go away. I will. I will be like, I don't have to do the fight. It's fine. But since I don't think you're going to do that, I have a call with my lawyer in a few hours. And then I'm going to go to the AOC rally in Denver because she's speaking here with Bernie Sanders. And I'm sort of excited for that. Okay. Yeah. That's really all I had to say. Mark Zuckerberg owes me $21 million, but I will settle for $1 million. And I just appreciate everyone for being here to support my suit. And if you happen to be an author whose data has been stolen, send me a message on DM or an email or something, because I might be or just like pay attention to my Substack, because I will be, assuming Sid wants to go down this road with me, I will be collecting all your names and we might be able to all party together. Going to answer the questions that are in the comments right now, and then I'm going to peace out because not everyone wants to listen to like a 7-hour lecture on copyright law. Jean Q. Oh, that's how it's pronounced, Jean Q. I've seen you in the comments before. Jean Q says it's one thing when college students pirate a PDF. When a huge company does it, it's completely different. Exactly. Just because it's a big company stealing my money doesn't mean it's okay. It's actually better when an individual steals something versus the large company. The large company is a systematic, like a gutting of every creative and talented sort of literary professional out there. It is worse. It is instead of a murder, it's a genocide. It's not literally a genocide, but you see what I mean. Z King says, be careful against the Zuck. What, because Zuck's going to come and shoot me? I mean, I don't know. Zuck can probably mess me up in a number of ways. He's got a lot of money. He's probably got private security. He's probably got all sorts of things. But what you don't understand, I mean, you viewer who asked that, Z King, is that I have dealt with my whole career with people putting guns in my face. That's happened like 3 times. 3 times I've had people put guns in my face while in the course of reporting. The existential threat of a lawsuit from Zuck is low on my list. Seaweed Hero asked if I'm the cousin of Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and I don't think I am, but I would love to be. I think that guy sounds pretty cool. Okay. Thank you for your thoughts on weighted vests and rucking. I don't ruck. It's probably a good thing though. I like rucking. Rucking sounds like it could be good. I've never done it. I like biking. I just think that sunscreen meme every time I think of Zuck. I don't know the sunscreen meme. And so Jean Q actually asked one final good question, which is really important, is it doesn't just apply to Meta's AI. Indeed, this is actually, we're going to go back to AI. This is really important, is that with Meta has like done this big violation, but just like 2 weeks ago, I got a letter from HarperCollins, which is one of the many people who I have done books with. And they said that they did a deal with, I believe it was ChatGPT, so OpenAI. And OpenAI said, hey, yeah, we stole all your stuff and we're going to give every author $2,500. Actually, it was $5,000, but that's split with the publisher. So I would get $2,500 for every book that I've done with HarperCollins that they had already stolen. All I had to do was sign a contract and say it was okay. And then maybe when you train your stuff on my stuff in the future, I'll get more money. And I didn't freaking sign that document because I think it's bullshit. And I would much rather sue them than I would just like give them permission for having already already stolen my work. So yeah, OpenAI, probably what's that, DeepSeek or whatever is that, the Chinese one. We can sue them all individually. Why the hell not? They're trillionaires. Probably, I mean, they're probably worth like $1 trillion. But Google's probably worth $1 trillion, right? And it's time to take the power back. Enough is freaking enough. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I just want to say, I do have an amazing new video coming out about the spread of testosterone supplementation around the world and how that is literally shrinking the balls of just so many people who listen to the wrong podcasts. Because 6 out of 7 compounding pharmacies will prescribe testosterone to a man, even though they have all normal levels. There's a huge epidemic there. I've just done a freaking amazing piece. It comes out on Tuesday. It's already available for my Substack subscribers, the premium guys, the attractive and intelligent ones who subscribe to me on Substack. And you can go watch it right now. The thumbnail I am personally very proud of because I made myself look super jacked, even though I'm not super jacked. It's cool. It's a great piece. Right back to my roots of investigative journalism on the scammers, not the political stuff. Thank you so much for everyone who's here. If you are an author, think about getting in touch with me because I'm going to be talking to Sid. And Sid's a great lawyer. He just won a federal case. And we are good to go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your like and subscribe, share this, all that good stuff. And let's go sue Mark Zuckerberg. It's going to be a blast. Bye.